Seen faces of despair, heard the pleas for help. As Kenya strives to resolve the political crisis and return to normal, we need to provide a lifeline of hope to the thousands of displaced men, women and children sheltering in makeshift camps across the country, where an acute shortage of food, clothing and proper sanitation prevails. That's why NTV and NACOMAT have teamed up to appeal for your help. Wherever you are in the world, you too can play a part and provide a lifeline of hope with contributions of food and clothing. To send your contribution, simply visit the KenTV site and click on the NACOMAT link to purchase your lifeline vouchers. NACOMAT will present your contributions in the form of food and clothing to assist clash victims across Kenya. So please help in the healing process and be part of rebuilding Kenya. NACOMAT lifeline vouchers, because Kenya ni nchi yetu.
Hundreds have lost their lives, lost loved ones, been displaced, injured, and have lost everything they own in the last few days.
You can help your fellow Kenyans by donating water, food, or clothing. Donations can be dropped off at any Kenya Red Cross office countrywide.
You can also donate money by making a deposit to Help Save Kenya at any KCB branch, account number 016-200-562-286.
Your contribution will enable us to provide them with food, water, clothing, and other basic necessities.
Help Save Kenya,
an initiative from Coca-Cola and the KCB Foundation.
You've seen faces of despair, heard the pleas for help. As Kenya strives to resolve the political crisis and return to normal, we need to provide a lifeline of hope to the thousands of displaced men, women and children sheltering in makeshift camps across the country, where an acute shortage of food, clothing and proper sanitation prevails. That's why NTV and NACOMAT have teamed up to appeal for your help. Wherever you are in the world, you too can play a part and provide a lifeline of hope with contributions of food and clothing. To send your contribution, simply visit the KenTV site and click on the NACOMAT link to purchase your lifeline vouchers. NACOMAT will present your contributions in the form of food and clothing to assist clash victims across Kenya. So please help in the healing process and be part of rebuilding Kenya. NACOMAT lifeline vouchers, because Kenya ni nchi yetu.
Thank you very much, Minister. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We have just returned from 48 hours of intense and brutal negotiations at a secret location outside Nairobi, which I know all of you discovered everywhere in Annan. Let me also thank you for being discreet, not extremists, even though you knew where we were and allowed us to work peacefully. The parties worked extremely well together during the 2 days at Kilanguni, often in mixed groups, by themselves, showing their strong commitment to peace and reconciliation in Kenya. They reached agreement on a range of issues and narrowed considerably the options for governance structure. Some of the points agreed are the creation of an independent review committee. This committee will be mandated to investigate all aspects of the 2007 presidential election and make findings and recommendations to improve the electoral process. The committee will be a non-judicial body made up of Kenyan non-Kenyan recognized electoral experts of the highest professional standing and personal integrity. The committee will submit its report within 3 to 6 months, and it should be published within 14 days, within 14 days of its submission. It should start its work no later than the 15th of March. The findings of the Independent Review Committee must be factored into the comprehensive electoral reforms that are envisaged. Through the discussion, it became apparent that there was no viable way, either by recount or retally or any other measure, to determine the outcome of the 2007 election in a way that would be expeditious and that would not further divide Kenyan society. However, the facts have to come out. The facts have to be known. Kenyans have to know what happened. We agree that the system must be reformed so that such crisis never happens again. The Independent Review Committee will allow this to take place in an environment of tranquility and transparency, thus contributing to further healing and reconciliation of the country. We did consider the options of a recount or a retally and concluded that a delay of the several months needed for recount could significantly increase existing tensions and delay resolution of the current crisis. And we recognize that the result of a recount might not further the unity and in fact may be divisive. A retally could not determine the correct result in stations or constituencies where the problems or irregularities were identified. On the need for a political settlement to resolve the current crisis, we agreed on the following. Recognizing that there is a serious crisis in the country, we concluded that a political settlement is a necessary and effective way to promote national reconciliation and unity. We also agreed that such a political settlement must be one that reconciles and heals the nation and reflects the best interest of all people. A political settlement is necessary to manage and implement expeditiously a broad reform agenda and other mechanisms that will address the root causes of the crisis and deepen and broaden Kenyan democratic foundations. And to get this through Parliament, it is essential to have a broad coalition so that at any one time, once they have agreed, they will have the 2/3 majority to move the reforms forward. Such reforms and mechanisms comprise, but not limited to, the following: comprehensive constitutional reforms, comprehensive electoral reform, including of the electoral laws, the Electoral Commission, and dispute resolution mechanism, a Truth, Justice and Reconciliation Commission, identification and prosecution of perpetrators of violence, respect for human rights, parliamentary reform, police reform, legal and judicial reforms, commitment to a shared national agenda in Parliament for these reforms. Other legislative, structural, and political and economic reforms are needed